Okay, quick look through. Monday's lack of ending day closing screens. There's not going to be that much on the screens tonight, but it's a pretty interesting one today. So I've opened up the live public link today. Hopefully it works. So we've got a gap down in the markets today. Chatter, as we call it. Tech stocks getting a little bit of a pounding. I'm just going to get on my Dow theory high horse, aren't I? Very important markets. Industrial average. Other important markets for the Dow theorist. Transports. Hang on, let me just juggle some screens. Cheers, James, sound and vision. Transports. I've just thrown a chart out there today. I mean, you could throw out the Euro stocks 50, or you could throw out. I mean, another good one is the all world minus the US, and we can look at how the rest of the world's trading without the US influence. I'll just hit the FTSE All Share. So the FTSE All Share is basically the 350 plus the fully listed small caps. And I've thrown a chart out on the Twitter today. But let's just go back to basics here. We've got the pandemic in this range here, in this line in the sand. We built a base here. We broke out of this base. And though this is an extremely big picture case of what I call a zone of interest. So if you're looking for a good stock, usually they break out, and then a lot of them can build a zone of interest just on top. What's basically more of a little stage base. The old classic of the bigger the base, the higher into space is a little bit of a myth. It's the small bases, what take, a few months to build. They're the ones, when they break out faster because they're stronger, And when you see big trends, you go back and reverse engineer those things. I can't even count on one hand the amount of big bases I traded, what turned into big trades. But I can, I'll take my shoes and socks off and, get all my friends involved to count how many small bases worked out fine. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that. But this is a monthly. I'll just, that's what we're looking at. This is the all share. Monthly still, we've got this week to get through. It might not get there on the monthly, but the weekly, it did. It's closed above the base. It actually spent all of last week above the base. It popped and it drifted back down. Yeah, I know everyone's going to be throwing out all these candlestick patterns and a reason for the top to be in. There's always a reason for the top to be. There's always a yeah, but. Break it down to simple things. What did rising markets do? Well, they trade new highs. This has just traded new weekly highs. When was the last time it traded new weekly highs? It was a long time ago now. It's last April. So yeah, I mean that's what markets do. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate these things. Now, another thing you'll hear is failed breakout this, failed breakout that. What is a failed breakout? Well, if this breaks out and then pulls back into here, is that a failed breakout? It's only a failed breakout if it breaks the pattern. Just dipping back into the base doesn't make it a failed breakout. You might say, well, it broke out on the weekly. If it takes the weekly out, it's failed on the weekly. Well, yeah, I can agree with that. But if you're trading the pattern is the last chance saloon for the breakout. Now, what you'll see a lot of with breakouts is it, like, think of the 80-20 rule. 80% of them will probably dip back in, even if they are going higher. 20% of them won't, maybe less. But the ones what don't dip back in are the strongest. And when you're talking about stocks, that's why we don't always wait for pullbacks. We take the breakout, and then if it pulls back in and then moves higher, then we add to it later. But because you don't want to be not involved with the best stocks, the best breakouts, the strongest, and you be involved in all the weakest ones. You want to be involved in all signals what pass the criteria you like to buy. So you're sort of on board, and then just I think what I'm trying to get across here is people will tie themselves in knots with this stuff. But at the end of the day, if this is above here, it shouldn't go below there again. And guess what? It could come all the way back here before making the next move. What should I show you to show you that? Should we jump on something like... just go and look at some charts and look at all those breakouts what dipped back in and went higher, and then look at the real strong ones what just clicked the heels and kept going. So yeah, keep it simple. What about the market? Well, one day does not make a reversal. Reversals take a long time in the markets, and one bad day is not a reversal. And even if you look at Nvidia, it's still in an uptrend. It's still basing. We call it a reverse vol base. It's just dipped into the 200 day. Yeah, it's a bad day. There's going to be plenty of those. If you trade the markets, you have to sit through all the bad days. It is what it is. But yeah, nothing to do today at our end. In the 3 US stocks what we looked at last week, be it we actually zoom, and let me just bring a couple up here. We looked at, let me just bring the chart up again. So DOCU and DDOG, Datadog, and ZM. I've got all my watch lists all messed up here. Were the ones what look like interesting pullbacks. And another thing we covered last week is just remember the swing has swung on this market, and this is about reinvesting, lock gains, and just being aware that these markets have trended up to sort of new highs without any kind of consolidation. But it's about picking the stocks as well. And these are all up today. All 3 of them are up today. They're trading better today than they've traded in the last few. So go figure, go figure. They were set up, and doesn't mean they won't be losers. Doesn't mean they won't roll over. But that's how you've got to come at the markets, with your eyes. Trading. Hang on a minute. Get on the right page. Let me just throw this is where we were looking at Netflix, on the pullback, and this is where it went. We knew it was into earnings though, Netflix, but that's what I'm trying to get across. the leaders have all swung up to those new highs. It doesn't mean they should all roll over and die, but as you can see, some of the tech ones have taken a whack today. But yeah, if you see it with your eyes, you know, it's in a pullback. It's one of the strongest stocks. It doesn't matter what, you know, all the opinions and all that. At the end of the day, if you trade stocks and you're a swing trader, you've got to go through the charts and look at the screens and look for the best setups, because that's going to work better for you. You know, rather than scrolling down some, you know, Edward Treetop's hot stocks on Twitter and all that nonsense. Let's just jump into these markets a bit more. We'll just go on a few other. Yeah, oil, you know, it's still teetering on the edge. You know, for every man and his dog, it's going to be better if oil breaks down. And, you know, it's just done this throwback again. The throwback here, and it drifted down. It's thrown back again. It might survive, but we're not seeing many oilers in the charts, and that tells us something. Gold. We put this line in the sand on gold, obviously. You know, it might want to base out. I presume if you went out there and look, you know, every man and his dog will be telling you that gold's ready to break out. But yeah, it might do. But just expect a base, and if it breaks out, well, you know, happy days, whatever. But expect the base would be the way to come at that one. TLT, 20-year and the 10-year here, holding the range. And the dollar weakness there. So yeah, that's what we, you know, quick look through the markets. I know I'm delayed on the Bitcoin, but you know, same with Bitcoin. You know, once we see this double top, we put a line in. We don't say the top's in, we say potential base here. You know, we were potential pullback after that run, wasn't it? But potential base here. Questioning the breakout. Yeah, sometimes they don't pull back early, you know, in the trend. As we sort of covered here. So, yeah, a little bit of a talk on breakouts there, and just, you know, we're in a bull market. The UK markets look primed. Doesn't, you know, no crystal ball on this stuff. Absolutely no crystal ball. You know, we're at highs with the portfolios. We've got a pretty good launch pad for us at trading basis, and it would be nice to see them step up. A little bit of a shake of the tree is probably really good as well for the US as well. A little bit of a transfer of wealth might happen there. Let's just hit the up on day pro gaps today, see what gaps up today. Cheers, James. Just I forgot those stocks, didn't I? They're all the same to me. Yeah, good. You know, it's always a shame when one goes. A little bit of a hit of sugar on this one. It's not bad, is it? I mean, for those who got involved on the pullbacks, it's not bad, is it? 40%. It depends how much of your portfolio you manage to squeeze into it, I suppose. Moving on. Into the closing highs. Those buyouts are great when you're in a swing trade and it's quite a tight bracket. When you're in a trend trade, that, you know, you just get that sad feeling that another one's gone. I'm not holding it. BlackRock on Spark Energy. And let's just buzz through what's positive. There's very little hitting closing highs today. SRT Marine there. Games Workshop's up there at highs again. As you know, keep it simple. When it broke out this base, you know, chasing that move wasn't really the pro move, was it? It was waiting for the pullback, and came into mean trend, went back to highs. For those who were like this stock, you know, I'm not going to land a big chunk of my portfolio into a stock like this. I'm looking for racing cars rather than more efficient high price stuff. But yeah, draw a baseline. If it breaks higher, happy days. If it bases out, well, you know what to expect, don't you? Pretty normal. One trick pony for us. Do one thing really well. Got no forward on that one. I presume it's still loss making. It might be a return to growth. Do your own research, as they say. RKT. Yeah, a bit of a messy base, wasn't it? Hit the old voodoo average and pulled back in. And CNC, a hit of sugar for CNC as well. Yeah, when it comes to sort of, you know, this is what we look for, higher beta stocks, what can really sort of, you know, rack up the returns without soaking up all your portfolio. So yeah, that one's doing fantastic, isn't it? Say it again. Just because it's up here, it doesn't mean it can't go higher, but you know, it is in an area where you'd expect consolidation. And as we say, time or price. That's how stocks consolidate. You know, time, bit of price. Some go full price, some go full time and hold the range. But you know, you could say, yeah, you know, it's due a correction there, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's trading up here, and then all of a sudden, you know, on the strongest ones that, you know, they just keep melting. So same again, wide spreads, thin stocks, higher beta stocks, they can, you know, that's where you're going to get your big trends, the bulk of them anyway. And being too clever, trying to trade in and out of these things will leave you sat on the sidelines in cash on the strongest ones. There is no way to solve that problem. You know, if you're too clever and you're trying to trade around these positions, you're going to end up light on your best. It is what it is. So it's not about the individual stock, it's about what the portfolio does. Yeah, we'll see it on the pullback screens again. Here's the example. You know, I knew we'd see one. Breakout, dips back in, you get a pullback opportunity. You don't always get that. You know, efficient stocks, main market stocks, you get it more often than not. Small cap, high growth, you always get a pullback, but you know, it's too easy to overthink these things. What is the job? It's to get invested, get the portfolio trending. Period. That is what the job is. Doesn't matter what kind of style, what time frame, you know, investor. I'm a long term. At the end of the day, everyone's trying to achieve the same thing: get the portfolio trending. So in the pullback screens today, You might notice my voice is a little bit croaky. When you go out on the town and two of your friends smoke, it doesn't matter how far away you stand or how just being out with people who smoke, you end up with a croaky voice. I do anyway, instantly. Nothing against it, you know. I don't walk off with a face on, but just being in the vicinity of someone who's smoking, I end up with a croaky voice straight away. Smoker's cough. Let's just buzz through these. I expected to see a few more of the metals of the precious metal stocks today. We did see them on the volume leaders, didn't we? But they're just obviously not in pullbacks and not extended, well, not trading closing highs at the moment. So yeah, there's really not that much to look at the moment. I did a full rundown of just the focus stocks, the filtered list, filtered leaderboard, and I've dropped that on the Daily Radars channel on Sunday. I dropped that, so have a buzz through there. You know, they're all in there. All the ones that have got growth, got, you know, a little bit of growth and are trending. They're all in there. I need to run through and just put all the levels in actually for those. But it's, as Nigel said there, Diamond Hands making a comeback. It's not been a bad day, has it? Let's just have a quick look at some of those US stocks. Nvidia, we threw a baseline in on Nvidia. It's gone reverse vol, hasn't it? Yeah, will it break? The end of the day. It's a difference between 650% and 500% out of the base, isn't it? It's a huge winning stock. Wherever people get stopped on their time frame, it's going to be a huge winning stock. It doesn't mean it's got, it doesn't mean it's far from a broken trend for my time frame though. Let's have a look at ARM. Yeah, I cursed this last week, didn't I? I talk about them and I curse them. So that's why I try not to talk about stocks on Twitter. I always curse my own ideas. Oh, put something out there and straight away it's going to be... it's karma, isn't it? If you're crowing all day long, it's going to bite you on the ass. Let's just have a look through a few more. What's up today? Meta. Obviously, Meta's doing okay. That's it. This is just a random list of stocks I just threw in a portfolio. We've already talked about this Reddit here. When you get these high in the sky bases, you know what we're talking about. We've already drawn it in. Doesn't mean it will happen, but you know what to expect. Then you can always be. It's about, if you know how stocks trade and the thing, where your mean trend is, your psychology is going to be better, isn't it? You're going to be able to calculate your risk to stop, all those things we have to do to rein in our psychology. Yeah. Anybody got anything? It's a quiet day, isn't it? just thought I'd throw it out live. And if anyone's got anything they want to look at, otherwise I'll wrap it up. I'll just say it out there. You know, I get a lot of messages on my Twitter account. I do business in you know, in the Trading Basis chat group. So don't message me on Twitter if you're in the chat group, because I just ignore I just ignore the Twitter all weekend. I only use it to drop things on when I'm at the computer. If you're sending me messages on Twitter, I do get to them, but I also get a lot of messages from people who don't follow me and basically asking all 1,000 questions, and then off they go to the next thing. So I don't interact with it anymore. I just I move on and leave it. Okay, I will leave it there. But things to point out on this tonight's screening session: transportation's new highs, industrials close to new highs, S&P small gap down in the S&P and the Nasdaq a little bit bigger, obviously. Russell basically flat, it's down 1%. DAX, yes, we could call it extended, but you know, we don't pick tops. We know that if you want to be involved, the market trends from now until 2 years tomorrow, picking tops is not going to be the game in town, is it? It doesn't back test well. It's probably the best way of putting it. Small caps, obviously lower in the fountain, risk fountain, and AIM bottom of the risk fountain. Though I trade a lot of AIM stocks, and the growth stocks are acting fantastically well. So we will leave it there. Cheers all.